Hey everybody, greetings from my living room floor. I'm trying something a little bit new, if you care to come along for the ride. My husband and I are heading into just an interesting phase of our lives that I thought would be fun and potentially educational to document as we go through it. I'm no expert at cameras, nor am I familiar with being in front of the camera, so just apologies in advance. I do have a little bit of a script here, so if you see me kind of glancing down, that's why. I tried filming this earlier without a script and it was just totally awful. So we're giving this a shot. But what's going on is that my husband Rorik and I have chosen to move from this house into my parents' house. Let me tell you why we're moving, because trust me, I love this house and I would not leave it unless I absolutely had to. The long and short of it really is that we just can't afford to stay here anymore. We can pay rent and we can pay the bills, but the rest of our budget is kind of tight, and we definitely don't really have enough going around to pay off what debt we've accumulated, and we don't have enough to start saving for our future either. Um, we we definitely tried finding some alternatives. Again, like I said, we did not want to move out of this place if we didn't have to. So we actually have another young married couple. It's about our age. They also do not have kids, nor do they have pets, that we're considering possibly moving into a larger house with us, so the four of us could all live together, which would have cut back on our bills significantly. But that wound up just not working out for various reasons. We also tried to find a roommate. We do have an extra bedroom here that we could have turned into a bedroom. We figured maybe bringing somebody else in with us, even though Rorik and I are married, we thought maybe we could make that work. We just wound up not really finding anybody who was suitable or in a kind of the right situation in life to make that work for them. We also tried just finding another place. We really like this house, but if it meant moving into a smaller place, we were okay with that. But that didn't work out because we just live in an area that's really expensive to live, and with the budget that we had to work with, we wouldn't have been able to afford a place that totally fit our needs. My husband is a musician. We have a lot of equipment, and we just couldn't squash all of that into a 6, 7, 800 square foot one bedroom apartment. I also work from home, so I need to be able to have my own space. It's actually just a requirement of the company that I work for, that I need to have my own dedicated space to work. And that just wouldn't have worked with the budget that we were working with and the kind of places that we would be able to afford. In the past, my parents have very kindly offered to let us stay with them to pay off our debt. And in the almost 2 years that we've been married, we just haven't needed to do that. We've been able to make enough to the point that that just wasn't necessary. But then our financial situation changed, and the nice little pad of buffer money that we had in our bank account just gradually got smaller and smaller, and then we just found ourselves where we're at right now, where we're needing to find an alternative, and we need to do something potentially a little drastic to get to where we want to get. So during this time in my life when we've been thinking so much about money, it got me thinking about just how my generation as a whole tends to deal with money. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, money was not quite a taboo subject, but not really an encouraged subject either. We definitely learned the basics, like it's good to budget. You definitely want to live within your means. You don't want to accumulate debt. It's good to save for your future. But when it got to the specifics, things got a little bit fuzzy. Asking about specifically how much things cost, or how much person of money makes per year, or maybe even how much debt a person had, was just not considered a polite subject. It wasn't talked about. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, especially when it comes to just how I was raised and my parents and all that. It's just the way it was. So when I got old enough to truly start thinking about my own financial future and start managing my money, I was at a little bit of a loss there. Fortunately, I was given an opportunity a little later on to learn a lot more about just how to handle my money wisely, and that was just the biggest blessing. To be honest, it saved me and Rorik in a lot of ways. My point is, a lot of young people in my generation and the generations that are coming after us are coming from a situation where they may not have a lot of practical financial knowledge, and at the same time are dealing with financial situations that previous generations haven't quite had as much experience with. So my thought is, maybe it's time to get a little more specific. My proposal is to share some of that nitty-gritty stuff with you as it pertains to my own life, especially over the next year or so as my husband and I kind of start on this new little adventure. We're going to be living in a house with both of my parents and my brother and a couple of pets. And I know there are going to be some challenges. I did live in that very same house with my parents while I was still single. But coming into a house with a husband is a little different. So we're going to have some kind of hurdles to jump over, I'm sure, and we'll address those as we get to them. My goal is not just to document the experience for my own sake, although I do kind of want to do that because I think it would be fun to be able to look back on this time in my life later and just kind of see where we were at and where we've come and what kind of knowledge and wisdom we've gained since then. But I want to just also go ahead and document this because maybe someone will find it useful, or maybe someone, is kind of in a similar situation to us and kind of wants to see how other people have approached it. So what I'll be doing, hopefully on a more regular basis, is I'll be keeping you guys up to date on our lives. I'm probably going to be telling you a little bit about how our moving process goes, how we're going to be settling into my folks' place, what our new space looks like. We're going to be going from a almost 1,800 square foot house with its own garage and a backyard and 3 bedrooms to basically a bedroom and an office. And that's it. You let me know what kind of stuff you want to see. I want to keep the conversation going. Even if it's something that you think isn't necessarily positive. Maybe you think moving a young married couple into an existing household of 3 that also has another married couple, especially when there's parents involved, is not a smart idea. Maybe you want to know a little bit about our budget and how we break that down. Maybe you want to know a little bit about our financial history and what kind of debt we have and how we handle that whole ordeal. Maybe you're, again, like I said, maybe you're in a similar situation and you appreciate the camaraderie and you kind of want to swap ideas and maybe share some stories. Feel free to do that too. But let me know in the comments below. You'll be hearing from me again soon. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Let's do it. Fortunately, I should pause. I'm going fast. Sorry.